Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Lauren, and I'm from Mom's Meat, and today I am with the very lovely Francesca from Cobram Estate, makers of the savory, delectable, and unrefined Cobram Estate olive oil. We're so happy to have you here. Welcome, and we're excited to talk about all things olive oil and all things Cobram Estate. To everyone out there joining us, say hello, let us know that you're here, comment away. So happy to have you join us. And if you are new to Mom's Meat, let me tell you a little bit about us. We are a large online community of moms, dads, grandparents, caretakers, all passionate about coming together to learn from one another and raise happy and healthy families. We offer a number of incredible resources, forums, blogs, online events like this one, summits, and one of our most unique features is our sampling programs that we run. We work with a number of incredible companies that produce better for you products, foods, beverages, personal care items, household items, and we connect with mom ambassadors, bloggers, and influencers who can try the products for free and then share their feedback with our moms in the community and also the companies themselves. So it's a wonderful way to learn more about better for you products. I'm a mom too. I can vouch for that. I've learned so much about different products that I now integrate into my daily life, and we'd love to have you join us. So hop on over to momsmeat.com, sign up to become a mom ambassador, and connect with the companies that we work with and try some amazing products. So we are, again, super excited to be talking to Cobram Estate today. And I just want to introduce you again to Francesca, and we'd love to hear more about you and your background and what got you interested in olive oil.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the intro. So my name is Francesca, and I'm actually originally from Canada, although right now I'm sitting in California at our Cobram Estate headquarters, USA. What got me interested in olive oil is, one, I'm half Italian, as you might have noticed by my name. And so I've always been really passionate about cooking and being with family. And while I'm not a mom myself, I know the impact my mom had on me. And just being able to be together and to cook together in the kitchen. And olive oil was always a huge staple of that. And so when I went to university, I had a couple of passions. I knew I loved cooking. I knew I loved nutrition. I knew I loved organic chemistry, but I also loved mythology and Greek and Roman studies. So I figured, well, let's go to this weird, cool school where you get to design your own major. And so I actually did. I designed a major in the form of a question. And my question was, what is the nature of olive oil? Wow. And that's kind of, I studied a little bit of everything. I've done everything from heavy duty biochem classes in the lab all the way to being able to go over to Greece and study archaeology and art history over where olive oil was kind of begun. So, and part of my degree was doing an internship, and that's how I met up with these lovely Cobram Estate people. I was just reaching out all over California, knowing that I had all the theoretical knowledge I needed to get my hands on in the dirt. Mm-hmm. And this is the only completely vertically integrated brands in California. And so I was like, what a perfect place to be. And they scooped me up right away, and I got to go out to the groves, do actually the sampling of the trees. We do this thing where we go out to all of our groves and take fruit samples every week to study the oil accumulation so that we know when we pick it's at actual peak harvest time. And so that was me in my first year. Mm-hmm. Since then, I've gone down to our parent company in Australia, worked a little bit there in the lab on the Olive Wellness Institute in the groves, and then came back to work here in the USA full time so I could be a little bit closer to home. Yeah. So that's sort of me in a nutshell.
Well, we're thrilled. We have somebody here now with theoretical, scientific, and hands-on knowledge, and we'll be actually doing a Q&A at the end of this event. So you've got Francesca here. You've got an expert. Please post away, ask questions, anything that you'd like Francesca to answer. We'll choose those questions at the end of our discussion today and ask Francesca for her input. So as you know, everybody, we love a good giveaway during our Mom's Meat Facebook Live. So today, 5 people will be winning 2 free bottles of Cobram Estate olive oil, which is amazing. And all we ask is that you comment, ask questions, like, and share this video. There it is. Beautiful bottle, beautiful design. And we'll announce the winners on Monday at 3 p.m. EST. So please post your comments and let us know what you'd like to hear from Francesca. So let's move right into our conversation because there's a lot that I want to know, and I'm sure our audience is really curious about as well. So first thing I wanted to ask you is, how did you start growing olives in California? What's the story? Give us more of the scoop on that.
Yeah, so olive growing, as far as for olive oil in California, is still relatively new, only about the last 15 years. And so the market is actually really fresh. And so, like I was mentioning before, our company is actually an Australian-based company. It was founded in 1998 by two farmers. And since then, we've grown into the largest brand in Australia. And so we figured we pretty much completely saturated the Australian market. We know a lot about growing extra virgin olive oil. We know a lot about the new world experiences because being in Australia, we weren't hampered by a lot of the, the prejudice people kind of thought had to go into growing olives and olive oil. So we were able to approach it from a really fresh technology point of view. And so we figured, well, could we do that similar model and bring it to California? So about 5 years ago, they started hunting around and found this location. We chose Yolo County, which is just north of Sacramento, because of its perfect Mediterranean-like climate. And also it's very few rain days of the year, even though there's rain right now. And that just makes an ideal growing conditions for olives. And so that's why we chose this location, and that's kind of how we got started here.
Yeah, makes complete sense. And tell us more about the process itself. I mean, how do you grow and harvest your olives?
Yeah, so that's been one of the most exciting parts. We actually have a new grove going in the springtime, and grove development is super exciting because it starts, almost a year before you actually put fruit or olives in the ground. And going through buying a property, grove preparation to planting, it's really great. But so that's one of our first ones we're planting. What we've actually been doing right now, because we're still relatively new and trees take a while to grow, we've actually been working with a lot of partner growers. So when we initially came to California, we started meeting different independent growers, setting up partnerships with them. And so we really work hand in hand with a lot of the local farmers around here. So that's sort of how we grow our olives right now. When it goes to actually growing them, those trees that are going in the ground now, they'll take a full 2 years before we can harvest them. So agriculture is definitely a long game, but it's a game that we really enjoy being a part of.
Absolutely. And when you were talking about just the quality and the process, I thought more about extra virgin olive oil in particular, because I know that when I'm looking at menus or I'm looking at ingredients and I see extra virgin olive oil, I always think, oh, it's extra virgin olive oil. But maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what's the difference between extra virgin olive oil and just regular olive oil. I feel like, again, it's something we talk about, but we might not really know what the actual difference is.
Totally. That's a huge point of like it's difficult to navigate the industry because there is, you go to the grocery store shelves and there is a variety of names that you see. The best thing that the only oil I would ever recommend buying at your shelves is something labeled extra virgin olive oil. Any other ones potentially mean that they're virgin oils, or that means that they just weren't your first harvest, your first cold pressed. And so how we make our extra virgin olive oil is we harvest mechanically, which means that it's a faster tree to table experience. So we harvest within 4 to 6 hours. Those olives are being pressed, being crushed, being stored into our tanks where they're kept under a nitrogen cap to keep it as fresh as possible. And that's your extra virgin. Your virgin olive oil, what could happen is that either it's incorrectly processed or the fruit was damaged. And so it doesn't actually, while it might meet a chemical parameter of being olive oil, it doesn't have the taste characteristics of a super fresh extra virgin olive oil. So that's sort of the difference between a regular olive oil or something labeled as pure olive oil or virgin olive oil versus an extra virgin. The extra virgin has to have really strict chemical parameters that it meets, and also meet a fruitiness, bitterness, and pungency, which is an organoleptic.
And I feel like we just hear sort of words about the health benefits of extra virgin olive oil, and we just kind of talk about it maybe theoretically, but can you tell me more about what actually are these great health benefits that we hear about extra virgin olive oil, and why it's healthier than some of the other fats that we might incorporate in our lives?
For sure. So olive oil is one of the only healthy unsaturated fats that also carries an enormous amount of antioxidants. And so those antioxidants are actually where we're finding the majority of the health benefits in the olive oil is. Olive oil has one in particular, oleocanthal, which actually is it's a fabulous compound that we're doing a ton of research on. But one of its most interesting characteristics is as an anti-inflammatory. And so it almost acts like, if you take your daily doses of olive oil, which is 2 to 6 tablespoons a day, you actually end up getting almost the equivalent of 1 ibuprofen pill. So it's a much healthier way for your body to fight an inflammation. And so that anti-inflammatory, what we're noticing is that it's helping with, heart, with blood pressure, with heart disease, with brain disease. And so it's just a great preventative step. And so that's one of the major health benefits. And then of course the healthy fat profile. Everyone should be eating their fats. Fats shouldn't be scared. You shouldn't be scared of them. I think there was a lot of fear around fats in the past, and fats are coming into light. And so the key is just finding a good, healthy, plant-based fat that also has a lot of other benefits, which olive oil meets the kind. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I know our moms in our community are so passionate about using food as more of as a medicine. And so using, foods and fats that can naturally help fight inflammation and ward off other diseases. So I think that's why a lot of us are so interested in olive oil and learning more about its benefits. Now, is there a specific amount that we should be incorporating on a daily basis to reap those benefits?
Yes, for sure. So some people say 2 to 4. I prefer the method of 3 to 6, if not more. There actually has not been an established upper limit of olive oil that, if you eat too much of it, you're going to get sick or anything like that. And what it does, because it has all those natural health benefits as well, it as long as you're eating it and eating it to your satiation, so you're not overeating, or it actually helps fill you up. And so I recommend, the more olive oil you can fit into your diet, the better.
So generally around 3 to 6 tablespoons.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do that with 6 tablespoons.
Yeah.
I just find that easy between one salad, between cooking with it,
right.
all of it. I don't necessarily measure 6 tablespoons every single day,
right.
but
right.
which a bottle seems to suggest that.
Yeah, and that was my next question: is how do you use it in your daily menu? Because I know for myself, I'm so used to just using it cold and pouring it over, drizzling over a salad. But can you cook with it? Can you cook with it at higher temperatures?
For sure. Yeah, that is another common misconception. People are like, oh, you can't cook with extra virgin olive oil. You can. You definitely can. And we have a ton of research showing that, in fact, it's one of the healthiest oils to cook with, because of the antioxidants that protect it from heat. So some of the ways that I use it: one, the obvious, of course, salads, putting it with bread, dipping it with a little olive oil and balsamic vinegar. It's amazing. Another really great thing about olive oil, though, is when you start cooking with it, it actually helps unlock a lot of nutrients in vegetables. So if you're cooking olive oil with, say, kale or broccoli, some of those really rich leafy greens people really suggest eating, our bodies actually have a hard time digesting that, digesting kale when it's raw, or kale if it doesn't have other nutrients to go along with it to help make it bioavailable in our guts. And so combining olive oil with, sauteing your kale rather than, steaming it, or sauteing your broccoli, and then also adding a little pinch of lemon, actually helps make the iron more bioavailable in your body, and it helps make those other beneficial compounds. The olive oil kind of acts as like the Sherpa that piggybacks those benefits through your microbiota. So it's actually, it helps create your food that's already healthy, and it makes it even healthier for you, and it makes it taste better. So it's pretty much
absolutely. Absolutely. I was thinking about, because kale is so popular nowadays, and there's some people who, are a little wary of, they know the health benefits, but maybe wary of the taste. But I feel like adding the olive oil not only unlocks the health benefits, but as you said, it makes it taste so much better, so much more palatable.
Totally. There's just something, I don't know, one of my favorite things to do is just take a little olive oil, saute some onions in it, and then throw in kale, broccoli, even sweet potatoes, peppers, and make sort of like a stir fry. And then more olive oil, a little salt, pepper, and then a squeeze of lemon, and it's like either a perfect dish over rice or a perfect side dish. So that's just like one of the many ways I use it.
Yeah, no, definitely good to know, because I think you're right. It's a common misconception about whether you can cook with it or whether you can use it, at higher heat, higher temperatures. And I think that, when we go grocery shopping and we're looking at different brands of olive oil and extra virgin olive oil, sometimes it's hard to know, what one is better than the other, or how you differentiate between the two. So first question is how, or what should you look for on your extra virgin olive oil bottle to just kind of, ensure that it's a high quality product, that it's fresh, that's something that we want to be purchasing and consuming.
For sure. That is, key thing. So the first thing I always look for is, one, expiration date. So check on and see where it is. If they say, 2 years from the date right now, be wary. Normally, when I open my olive oil, use it between 3 to 6 weeks, because it does, as soon as oil begins to oxidize, as soon as you open a bottle, or as soon as it really hits the bottle, it begins that process of degradation. And what that means is that those polyphenols just start dying off, and it just turns into a fat. Just, the unhealthy, not unhealthy, but just plain fat. So one of the things is expiration date. One even more important thing, though, is harvest date. So what we do on all our bottles is we put when that oil was actually harvested. And so then you can do in your own head, okay, well, if it was harvested 2 years ago and they say that it's 2 years from right now, that means that they're giving it a shelf life of 4 years. And let me tell you right now, there's no olive oil that is going to stand the test of time for 4 years. That would take quite a lot of antioxidants to survive that long. So check for harvest date. Check if you can see where the country of origin is. If you can see, like this was produced in this area of California or this area of Italy or something. And so you can trace back and do a little bit more independent research, because unfortunately it is one of those products that you do kind of have to look into a little bit if you want to make sure that you're getting the healthiest one possible. And then also look for glass bottle, dark glass bottle, sorry. So like something that, to keep light out. Either dark glass or sometimes even like tin. They do that. If anything's in a clear bottle, that degradation has pretty much happened. I had a bottle just like doing a little sample on my desk, one in a clear bottle, one in a dark bottle. And 1 week just sitting on my desk with there's a couple windows, but not a ton. And that oil was rancid, which means bad within 1 week. So don't buy anything out of a clear bottle on the shelves. And those would be kind of my main things to look for when I'm looking on grocery store shelves.
Yeah. No, that's really helpful. Thank you for that. And of course, we'd love to know what really differentiates Cobram Estate olive oil from some of the other brands out there on the market. What's so special about Cobram Estate, and why should we, purchase it compared to some of the other bottles on the shelf?
Where do I begin? Well, for the first one, we're one of the only completely vertically integrated. So that means that we're the farmers, we're also the harvesters, we're also the millers, we're also the bottlers. So we do everything here in-house, which means that we know exactly where those olives came from and exactly how that they were treated all along the way. Another thing that we have, which is really amazing, is a lab on facility. So right next door to me actually is an organic chemistry lab, which means every single batch of olive oil that we make or before we bottle it, it all gets tested to make sure that it is up to standard for freshness, for quality, for flavor. And then if anything starts slipping, then we know to put it down another avenue. So we have just some really, really strict quality standards. And then the technology side. And also, this is a little bit more fluffy, but this is actually one of my favorite parts about our bottle is, I don't know if you can see, but when you open the lid, this is really cool. We have a pop-up pourer.
Oh, nice.
Forehead, so you can see it that actually like pops up. And it's
that's great.
Because it just means that like when you pour, it has a little catcher here too. So you don't end up with like a super oily bottle all the way down. You end up with a really nice stream of oil as you pour. And I don't know, it's just one of my favorite parts about it. I remember the first time I opened up a bottle, and sometimes if you like open it up, the lid will kind of pop off, and I was like, what was that? But actually, like, you might think it's a little thing, but it's a huge thing. So many olive oil with a wine spout, and you like dump a glug on, and you're like, oh no, they're no control.
No, it's a nice clean pour, very important. And your campus, your facility sounds amazing. So sounds like it's a great place to work and great place to learn and great place to experiment as well. Well, while we've been talking, a couple of questions have come in from our viewers, and I'd love to ask you a few more. One is the difference between, is it safe for kids to eat? This is actually really important because we're talking about our own, day-to-day menus and what we like to eat, but is it something that is safe for kids to eat? And is there sort of an age recommendation when they, should start incorporating extra virgin olive oil in their diets?
That is a wonderful question. There is not an age where you should start. In fact, you should start as soon as they can. I remember my mom was making me baby food that was like, sweet potatoes, and she'd pour a little olive oil in and mash it all up just to make sure I was getting my healthy omega fats, and that's where I would get them from. Olive oil, it's not the cancer curing all disease, but it is one of those things that if you start eating at a young age, you are going to be getting a lot more of those protective qualities from younger on. And if food is medicine, right? If you're eating a healthy lifestyle your whole life, that will help you in your future greatly. So I would say get them on it as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great to know, because I know a lot of us are, thinking about what we how to, sort of introduce healthy foods to our children and expand their palates and using the healthy fats. It's definitely beneficial. Another question that came in that is interesting to me is using olive oil on your skin. Is that something that's recommended? Is it something that's okay for us to do? And, what are some of the daily uses, beauty product uses that you might be able to incorporate using olive oil?
Well, one of my favorite scrubs that I actually ever do, I use ground coffee beans. So once you've like made your pour over or whatever, take the ground coffee beans, let them dry, put olive oil in it, and it makes an amazing exfoliant. So, sorry, one, I should answer the question. Yes, olive oil is completely safe to use on your skin. I do it all the time, clearly. One of them is through that scrub. Another thing I do is I often do an olive oil hair mask. So if my hair is feeling particularly dry or crunchy, I'll put a little bit of olive oil in it. But that's just, some little things that I do. Olive oil does have a really interesting compound called squalene, which they're doing a lot of research on right now, because it's actually been proven to help keep skin looking younger, and it's a naturally occurring, it's part of our sebum in our own skin. So if you've got really, really dry skin, it can actually help replace some of the missing sebum that you might have. But that's still very fresh and in the research papers. So, but yeah, there's some really interesting stuff coming out of using olive oil as a skincare product.
Yeah, no, it's good to know. We're all about healthy and natural products, even extending to, our personal care and daily beauty items. So that's great information. I know you touched on this a bit, but the differences and benefits with cold pressed and other olive oils, why is one necessarily better than the other?
For sure. So when you're processing olives, the easiest way to get the most oil out of that paste is to crank up the temperature. But what ends up happening when you crank up the temperature is that you end up degrading a lot of those biophenols that I was talking about, the polyphenols, those antioxidants. They start breaking down at higher temperatures. So if you press your olive oil, you end up with your paste and it sits in the malaxer and you crank it up really high, you'll end up actually degrading it before it comes out. And you can also get an unpleasant, like burnt flavor. And so that's why we recommend anything under 30 degrees Celsius is considered your cold pressed extra virgin. And that's what we abide to at our facility. Just ends up with a cleaner, fresher palette with a healthier oil.
And one other question that came in that I think is a great one is anything being done, there's a number of companies who might say that they have pure olive oil, but they cut it or they supplement it with some of the cheaper oils. Is there anything being done so that the consumer can cross-check that or ensure that they're buying the purest and the best product that for themselves and their families?
For sure. California actually has got some really amazing standards, and they also have some really amazing committees. Like one, for instance, is called the California Olive Oil Council, which is the COOC. Now they have a label that you can put on your bottles that say that you're COOC certified, which means that they've gone to your facility, they've tested that it's 100% Californian, they've done the organoleptic taste panel, which means that it's all extra virgin by palate as well. And that you're not doing any adulteration. However, not everyone puts the sticker on their bottles. For instance, we don't actually have the stickers on our bottle because it's a lot of stickers to put on a lot of bottles. But what you can do is you can go onto the COOC website and you can see who are the approved olive oil brands or California olive oil brands that meet their standards. And so a lot of people are using that as sort of their benchmark to make sure that people are meeting the standards as far as what brands to trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Francesca, thank you so much for taking some of the questions from our audience members, and thank you so much for the great conversation today. Anything else that you want to tell us about virgin olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, or Cobram Estate's olive oil in particular?
I would say give us a try. If you see us on your shelves, please do. This is our lovely bottle once again. Like I said, I had the ability, I studied olive oil. I did everything I could to, get as well-rounded of an experience through my education. And this is the company I decided to work for because I really, really believed in the mission that they were trying to do, which was bring New World olive oil to the New World and get people eating and take away the stigma around, the fanciness or whatever around healthy eating. So everyone can eat healthy. Everyone can eat delicious. And so, use olive oil. Try things with it. I don't know, roast your meat with that olive oil if you want to try it. Roast your veggies. It's the only oil I use in my kitchen.
Well, we actually are running currently a group sampling program for Cobram Estate. So our mom ambassadors are actually going to be trying both the Australia and the California Select olive oil with their group members. And so just to all our audience members out there, make sure you check out the product review page on momsmeat.com for Cobram Estate and read all about what our moms think about the product, their experience using it, and their feedback. Just a little bit more about Cobram Estate. It's available to purchase at your local grocery store or your Walmart store. And if you hop on over to cobramastate.com, you can check out the list of local retailers or where you can find it in your area. It's available for the low price of $9.47 per bottle. And everyone watching, please continue to comment any more questions that you'd like us to bring over to Francesca and the Cobram Estate team, and let us know what you found most helpful or interesting about this product. Again, I feel like olive oil is something that we all use, we all talk about, but might not know, too much about the details and some of the science behind it that Francesca told us today. And there's actually a very exciting giveaway Cobram Estate has planned. This is separate from the 5 winners who are going to get 2 bottles each. This is a year's supply of Cobram Estate olive oil, which is amazing. And all you have to do is sign up and for your chance to win, and we'll provide you with the link in the comments below. So definitely click on that, sign up, and you might get your chance, to win the full year supply of Cobram Estate, California, and Australia Select olive oil. Again, thank you, Francesca, so much. We loved talking with you today. We loved having you here and discussing with us. And thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Happy Friday. Continue to keep liking, sharing, commenting, and we'll be selecting the winners for our giveaway on Monday at 3 p.m. EST.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really, really fun. What a great way.
Thanks, Francesca. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you soon.